The life and reign of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, on the island of Corsica. The island had been transferred from Genoese to French control only a year before his birth. His father, Carlo Maria di Bonaparte, worked as a lawyer and political delegate who gained formal noble recognition for the family under the French crown. His mother, Maria Letizia Ramolino, was widely respected for her strength of character, discipline, and practical intelligence. The family's finances were limited, yet their ambitions were high. Napoleon was the second of 8 surviving children, including Joseph, Lucien, Louis, and Jerome, who later served as monarchs or high-ranking officials during his rule. During his education in France, Napoleon studied first in Autun and, from 1779, at the military academy of Brienne-le-Château. Surrounded by wealthier classmates, he spoke French with a Corsican accent and often felt socially detached, but he distinguished himself through academic effort, especially in mathematics and military science. In 1784, he entered the École Militaire in Paris, where he completed studies in only 1 year. At age 16, he received his commission as an artillery officer, a branch renowned for technical precision, discipline, and reliance on logical command structures. The outbreak of the French Revolution in 1789 reshaped both the French state and Napoleon's career prospects. The revolution dismantled hereditary privilege within the military, allowing promotion on merit. Napoleon supported the revolutionary government and benefited from its openness. His first major success occurred at the Siege of Toulon in 1793, where royalist rebels had allied with the British fleet. As an artillery commander, Napoleon identified firing positions that dominated the harbor. His batteries forced the British withdrawal, earning him promotion to brigadier general at 24.
In 1795, a royalist uprising threatened Paris in what became known as the 13 Vendémiaire Revolt. Government leader Paul Barras tasked Napoleon with the city's defense. He positioned artillery along critical streets and ordered grape-shot fire when insurgents advanced. The swift suppression steadied the government and strengthened his reputation as an officer of decision. Shortly afterward, he received command of the Army of Italy. Between 1796 and 1797, Napoleon led the Italian campaign. Facing poor supplies and low morale, he reinvigorated his soldiers through mobility and tactical concentration. He defeated Austrian and Piedmontese armies in a sequence of victories at Montenotte, Lodi, Arcole, and Rivoli. These campaigns culminated in the Treaty of Campo Formio, securing French control over northern Italy and the Low Countries. His strategic vigor and attention to troop morale forged intense loyalty within the ranks. In 1798, Napoleon directed the Egyptian campaign, an attempt to threaten Britain's access to India by occupying Egypt. At the Battle of the Pyramids, French forces defeated the Mamluk army using robust infantry formations resilient to cavalry assaults. Soon after, the British Navy under Admiral Horatio Nelson destroyed the French Mediterranean fleet at the Battle of the Nile, isolating Napoleon's army. With communications severed, he returned to France in 1799, leaving his forces behind. By this time, the political system known as the Directory was failing. In November 1799, Napoleon conspired with politicians Emmanuel Size, Charles Maurice Talleyrand, and his brother Lucien to seize power in the coup of 18 Brumaire. The new consulate replaced the Directory, and Napoleon became first consul, effectively head of state. Over the following years, he strengthened fiscal institutions, centralized education, and overhauled the legal structure. In 1804, the Code Civil de Francais, later called the Napoleonic Code, codified civil law principles including equality before the law and secular authority of the state.
On December 2, 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French in Notre Dame Cathedral, symbolically asserting that legitimacy derived from service and merit, not divine lineage. In 1805, he achieved his greatest battlefield victory at Austerlitz, defeating the combined Austrian and Russian armies. By feigning weakness along one flank, he lured his opponents into vulnerable deployment and then countered with overwhelming force through the center. The victory confirmed his status as Europe's leading strategist and consolidated French dominance. During the following years, Napoleon extended his influence across continental Europe through conquest and alliances. He installed family members as rulers of satellite states. Resistance nevertheless expanded. The Peninsular War in Spain began in 1808 after his brother Joseph was placed on the Spanish throne. Continuous guerrilla actions supported by British troops under the Duke of Wellington drained French resources. In 1812, Napoleon initiated his grandest but most destructive endeavor, the invasion of Russia. Leading the Grand Army of over 600,000 soldiers, he fought a costly confrontation at Borodino before entering an abandoned, burning Moscow. The Russians' scorched earth policy, harsh winter, and shortages decimated his army. Fewer than one-sixth of his forces returned from the campaign. The catastrophe in Russia encouraged formation of a new coalition composed of Britain, Prussia, Russia, and Austria. In October 1813, Napoleon suffered a decisive defeat at Leipzig, known as the Battle of Nations. The following year, coalition troops invaded France. Confronted by overwhelming power, Napoleon abdicated on April 6, 1814, and was exiled to the Mediterranean island of Elba. In February 1815, he escaped Elba and returned to France, initiating the 100 Days. He regained authority without bloodshed but soon faced another Allied coalition. On June 18, 1815, at Waterloo in Belgium, his forces fought the British under the Duke of Wellington and the Prussians under Blücher. Reinforcements from Prussia decided the battle, leading to Napoleon's final defeat. After Waterloo, Napoleon abdicated for a second time. He surrendered to the British and was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. Under continuous British supervision, he lived there for 6 years, dictating memoirs that shaped his public image. Napoleon Bonaparte died on May 5, 1821, probably from stomach cancer. Napoleon's legacy is both administrative and military. He is remembered as a tactician of exceptional ability and as a lawgiver whose reforms outlasted his empire. The Napoleonic Code influenced civil legislation throughout Europe and beyond. Though his wars caused immense loss of life, his reorganization of government, law, and education laid enduring foundations for the modern European state.